Chase spread his belongings across the bed: weapons, ammo, dried food, water purification tablets. Too much gear. No vehicle. He dragged his palm down his face, jaw clenched. The generator hummed in the corner, his only bargaining chip for a working truck. His neighborhood sat behind chain-link fencing, a makeshift compound where survivors traded military surplus and scavenged goods. They'd approached him twice about joining the resistance. They believe we should band together, fighting back against our oppressors. He declined both times with a handshake and a smile. No commitments, but he'd need them, eventually. The government had tried spinning the Ohio incident as a localized outbreak, but the videos leaked too fast. Gun shops emptied in hours. The internet exploded before they cut the lines. Chase walked into the living room. Static crackled from the radio outside. He bolted through the door and cranked the volume. The announcer's voice cut through. Borders surrounding Ohio are now closed. No entry, no exit. Martial law is in effect. All citizens are advised to remain indoors. Chase's head dropped. His hands gripped the railing until his knuckles whitened. The military had abandoned the small checkpoints. They were consolidating, securing the major cities, the highways, the choke points. Something catastrophic had happened. He'd always been a prepper. Being a loner made it easier. Chase grabbed his hammer and a box of nails. He boarded the stairwell entrance with overlapping planks, reducing visibility to narrow slits. He scattered broken glass across the steps, jagged shards from smashed bottles that would crunch underfoot and shred ankles. He shoved a refrigerator, a washing machine, and a couch into the stairwell, creating a maze of obstacles. Next, he built a makeshift ladder from 2x4s and roped one route to the roof, another down to the first floor on the opposite side. Emergency exits. No intention of returning. Living on the second floor gave him the high ground. He reinforced the balcony railing with metal pipes and wooden beams, lashing them tight with zip ties and duct tape. Neighbors shuffled past, watching him work. Their eyes lingered on the hammer, the nails, the barricades. Sirens wailed in the distance. Military trucks roared down the street, engines growling. Chase paid them no mind, flipping his helmet back over. Chase knelt beside the generator, checking fuel levels and valve pressure. A neighbor passed by a woman in her 30s. She smiled and waved. He ignored her, adjusting the carburetor. Something instantly comes over him as if he's been here before. A gut feeling, a warning. The sun bled orange across the horizon. Kids sprinted through the complex courtyard, shrieking and laughing, chasing each other in some game only they understood. Screams erupted from every direction, high-pitched and raw. Chase turned abruptly. All of them. Frozen. Chase stood and gripped the railing. Two men sprinted past, arms pumping, not playing, running. A herd of deer burst through the compound fence, splintering wood and chain link. They scattered in panic, hooves thundering. Zombies gave chase some fast, some shambling. A woman stumbled down the sidewalk, both hands clamped against her neck. Blood pulsed between her fingers, soaking her shirt, dripping onto the pavement. What the fuck? Chase turned around. Hearing another shriek nearby, he watched a creature snatch another woman, dragging her down on both knees. No hesitation, his teeth tore into the opposite side of her neck. One of the quick zombies leaps out, tackling a deer, pinning it down while the slower ones caught up and tore in. Chase sat on the outside ledge looking down, interrupted by a large shadow. "Look at this big bastard," Chase muttered. "Probably need 2 shots to the head." The zombie lurched toward fresh prey, a woman screaming 20 yards away. Gunfire thundered across the complex. Military vehicles rolled in armored trucks with mounted guns. The turrets swiveled and fired, mowing down zombies, trees, civilians. Didn't matter. Men in black tactical armor poured out, moving in tight formation. They swept through the courtyard, eliminating targets with precision. Not military uniforms, private contractors. Mercenaries. Why would they send mercenaries here? Chase watched the setup a perimeter around the complex, closing off exits and checkpoints throughout the complex. Chase watched from the balcony. One truck pulled up on a group of 5 civilians. They raised their hands, screaming. "We're not infected. We're not—" The mercenaries shouted something Chase couldn't hear. Then they opened fire. All 5 dropped. 2 of them were children. The soldiers laughed, ejecting from their vehicle, slapping in fresh magazines. It was a joke to them. Chase was furious. 2 trucks circled the 6 apartment complexes. 4 armored vehicles followed, bristling with soldiers. The mounted AI turrets rotated, tracking heat signatures, cutting down anything that moved. Chase spun and sprinted inside. He grabbed his bug-out pack and stuffed it ammo boxes, throwing knives, water bottles, protein bars. He slung his 10mm carbine over his shoulder and carried his shotgun to the front porch, setting both against the wall, placing a shotgun by the front door. Two handguns went into holsters, one on his hip, one strapped to his thigh. He retrieved his bow staff from the bedroom closet, 6 feet of hardwood with bladed tips on both ends. Outside, the soldiers began kicking in doors. Gunfire erupted inside apartments. Bodies dragged into the courtyard, separated into piles, doused with gasoline, and set ablaze. Placed on a flatbed carrier, Chase peered through the blinds. One soldier stood apart from the rest. His armor bore a unique insignia on the chest plate, a symbol Chase couldn't quite place, but it looked familiar. The leader stood there, in robotic formation, surveillancing the area. The man raised his wrist and swiped his hand through the air. A holographic interface materialized, glowing blue, translucent. He tapped a sequence of numbers. The dumpster in the courtyard began to rise. Beneath it, a garage door slid open, revealing a ramp descending into darkness. Lights flickered on in sequence, illuminating a 2-lane tunnel stretching into the earth. "All right, let's clear them out," the leader shouted. "We've got 2 hours to load up." He pressed another button. A massive carrier vehicle rumbled up from below. Chase stepped back from the window. A heavy thud shook the porch. Chase heads back inside before he is spotted. He shoved the refrigerator through the doorway, spinning it so the door faced the railing. He disappeared inside for 3 minutes. When he emerged, he wore all-black tactical pants, long-sleeve shirt, gloves, strapping the back of his mask down tightly. Fire in his eyes, tarnished from what he just witnessed. Life doesn't matter anymore. Nothing but red in both eyes. He slung the rifle across his back, holstered both pistols, and set a 6-pack of glass bottles on top of the fridge. He twisted off the caps, stuffed gas-soaked rags into the necks, and lined them up. "Hey! Hey! Please help us!" Chase leaned over the railing. He drops the makeshift ladder. The child climbed first, small hands gripping each rung. The woman followed, then the men. Chase drew his pistol and fired 3 shots, crack, 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 dropping the zombies closing in from behind. "Hurry!" The last man scrambled up. Chase leaned over. "Pull the ladder." He handed the bulletproof vest to the smallest child. "Put this on. You and your mom next apartment over. Hide in the bathtub. Don't come out." The woman grabbed her son's hand and hurried next door. The 2 men approached Chase. "You got extra firepower?" one asked. Chase handed him the shotgun. The second man pulled a pistol from his waistband. "You got 9mm?" Chase pointed to the backpack. "Hundreds of rounds. Help yourself." He finished prepping the Molotov cocktails, stuffing rags into each bottle and filling them with gasoline. "Damn, dude. You don't mess around." The man loaded his pistol. The other one filled the shotgun belt with shells. "Why's the military killing people?" the second man asked. "That's not military. Look at them black armor, no insignia. Government mercenaries. They're taking us out, man. I told you." "Believe me," Chase said. "We're on the same page, but they're coming. We fight back or die." More screams echoed across the complex, mixed with bursts of automatic fire. Chase scanned the courtyard. 3 more vehicles incoming, 2 light, 1 heavy. 12 hostiles, maybe more. Assault rifles, body armor. We play this smart. The men nodded. Zombies sprinted past below, chasing the sound of gunfire. Across the courtyard, a soldier kicked in a door. A group of women huddled under the kitchen table, gripping baseball bats. Soldiers rescue. The girls. Eliminating zombies coming through the door. The soldiers' rifles raised. The women dropped the bats, hands up. "We're not infected." The soldiers laughed. Then, both fired, with no remorse. 2 inside, both registered gun owners. "Hurry up, we're getting swarmed." The soldier placed a breaching charge on the next door. It detonated with a muffled whump, sucking the door inward. 2 soldiers entered, rifles up, flashlights cutting through the darkness. Night had fallen. The vehicles flipped on their headlights, illuminating the courtyard. Mounted guns swiveled, tracking heat signatures, red for zombies, green for humans. "Sir, this unit's empty." One of the men on Chase's balcony tapped his shoulder. "Pay attention to their movement." He pointed at the overturned dumpster. "What is that?" "Don't know," Chase said, "but I'd bet that's where they take the bodies." He turned to the 2 men. "You ready?" They nodded. Chase flipped the mask down over his face. "Wait for my signal." He turned and moved to the window. The soldiers crept through the apartment, checking corners. One aimed a shotgun at the bathroom door. A figure exploded from the hallway, tackling him into the couch. Another survivor burst from the side room, dual-wielding, 50 caliber handguns. He fired, boom, boom, blowing a soldier's head apart. The third soldier retreated, absorbing 2 body shots that cracked his chest plate and sent him stumbling into the wall. He crawled toward the door, firing blindly to cover his escape. Two down. Send backup now. He turned to fire again. Chase's carbine round punched through the back of his helmet, splitting it open. The body slammed into the doorframe and collapsed. One survivor peeked down the hallway. Go and hide, now. Chase leaned out the window and unloaded the carbine pop stitching rounds into the soldiers storming the building. Glass exploded. He hit the driver in the neck. The vehicle swerved before coming to a slow stop, hitting a pole. Chase leaps off the balcony, landing on top of the dumpster, running into a destroyed apartment. Men fired from the back seat, and all around the complex, bullets chewing through concrete and the window frame. Chase patiently waited, counting bullets in his head. Chase took a breath, stepping in front of the window, steadied his aim and dropped two more soldiers before reloading. A second vehicle swung around quickly, scanning the area. The machine gun fires. Chase drops the rifle, equipping the SMG, darting through the narrow alley connecting to the complex, dodging bullets with unbelievable speed.